The origin of the Titans has been revealed, and now everyone is confused. So what's up guys, Foxen here. The brand new Attack on Titan episode, and releasing this on Father's Day. I don't know if that was planned, most likely not, but absolutely genius. So let's get into this. Go ahead and give a colossal thumbs up and subscribe. Be sure to set up bell notifications so YouTube actually sends you my videos. So let's go ahead and get started. This really is Attack on Titan world building the episode. You gotta get anime watchers super familiar with this great Marley nation. Once again, this episode, no opening. Must be another epic episode. And let's just be completely honest, the previous opening no longer fits at all. It would have been really nice that they had updated the opening mid-season. You know, similar to what A1 Pictures did for SAO-licization near the end. But then again, this is the resource restrained with studio. The episode started you off with some Marley stills just to set the mood. You got Grisha and his adorable sister Faye looking awfully worried. How funny is this? Just a second ago, Grisha looked extremely excited. Just a great example of immediately regretting your actions. Today's very special Attack on Titan episode titled Daddy Issues. I mean, that day. Finally, you're getting the anime version of where it all began. And trust me, manga readers are equally as excited. You really are getting the warm welcome from Marley this episode. And by you, I mean the young Grisha and the lowly. For example, this asshole. Smashing poor Grisha and calling him a devil? Well, that's just a good morning in Marley Town. An important thing here is to notice he called him an Eldian. I do believe this was the first time this term has been mentioned, and you're going to be hearing it a lot from now on in the Attack on Titan anime. Eldians are the group of people who could turn into Titans. For young Grisha and Faye's face here, really reminded me of some of the Attack on Titan dreaded faces from season 1. As for the blimp scene, you really got quite the change in scenario and mood pretty quickly. I did love that the anime gave you an idea of how Grisha and Faye got over here to this grassy location, especially seeing the change in expressions from a moment ago. But then again, going from ultra happy to scared. So yes, let's go ahead and welcome Mr. Kruger coming in. At this point in the story, being a spy within Marley with his plump buddy Mario. Come on, these guys were totally slacking. They were just pissed off Grisha caught them. Either way, it didn't really matter for the Jaeger siblings. Grisha was really at fault for breaking the Marley laws. At this point in the story, Marley had Grisha's people, the Eldians, living in specialized zones. The armband they're wearing already hinted at it in the previous episode. Because really, Grisha's dumbass left their dedicated area without a permit. Something that his mama should have drilled into his head countless times. So you got Mr. Kruger giving Grisha a beatdown. This must be some Titan meta stuff right there. And man, Mr. Kruger did not hold back one bit. Although perhaps Mr. Kruger wasn't too bad. I mean, he still allowed Grisha to get a view of that blimp. Only cost you a street beatdown. Unfortunately, you do have one casualty from this, Grisha's sister Faye. Let's just say Grisha got the better deal here. Poor Faye got turned into fricking dog food by Mario. I was wondering how much they would show of Faye. Unsurprisingly, they cut out a bunch. I'm surprised that they even showed that wounded arm, although you gotta block the body. Little kids may be watching this. Next up, back at the Jaeger home. My god, do I hate this chubby soldier. Sure, I had nothing to do with it. I just brought her back and went back to work. My ass. I don't know if it's worse, but of course this guy easily got away with murder. Like it was no big issue. The anime definitely picked this perfect voice to make you dislike this guy even further. On the flip side, you have poor Papa and Mama Jaeger. In their current situation, they really were in no position to even question the Marley soldiers. Not unless they wanted a one-way ticket to join up with Faye. Overall, this whole scenario was really helping to fuel Grisha's rage against the Marley nation. Is there really any surprise now to find out where Eren got it from? Next up, the Titan history, the anime version. You're now hearing about the original Ymir Fritz. Supposedly, she made this deal with the devil almost 2,000 years ago. That is what supposedly started everything. In other words, what brought the Titan curse onto Earth. Keep in mind throughout this I will be saying supposedly, since this current one is all Marley's version of history, basically being Marley's propaganda against the Eldian people. Although this really goes back to that infamous quote about history being written by the victors. You could expect truth and lies to be mixed here, for everything presented in this episode. Even in the Attack on Titan manga, the full truth has not been revealed yet. Anyway, from Ymir later came the 9 Titan powers. The anime finally confirmed for you here a concrete Titan number, 9 total. Eren currently has 2 of those Titan powers, the fan-dubbed Rage Titan and the Founding Titan. And he currently has the female Titan. Reiner has a Plot Armor Titan. Zeke has the Beast Titan. Ymir has the Jaws Titan. The Car Titan made a small appearance helping out the Beast. The Colossal Titan was once burnt, and now the almighty power sits with Armin. And the one final Titan power, let's just say it's currently at Marley. You'll see it in Attack on Titan Season 4. So like in 10 years. Getting into the dark side of Titan history, brought to you by the Marley history books. After Ymir died, the Titan power was split into 9 pieces. Supposedly the 9 Titan powers were abused to pretty much rule over everything. Marley and pretty much every other nation, unsurprisingly, were a casualty of this Titan takeover. The result was this grand empire called Eldia. For this, let me just mention I do plan to make a full video on this soon, and overall for this part, there seems to be a lot of truth here, especially about using the Titan powers for one's gain. This then gets into darker Titan history stuff, regarding the Eldian people forcing the people they have oppressed and taken over to have their kids, thereby increasing the number of Eldians and subjects of Ymir on the planet. In other words, a whole lot of graping going on, just drop the G. If you've taken any history class, you should be all too familiar with similar stuff throughout our human history. As for some of the more questionable stuff, Papa Grisha mentioned about 1,700 years or so of ethnic cleansing. Keep in mind, if this was true, there really should have been no Marley Nation or anyone else left. Hell, almost none of the other world's non-Eldian populations should have even existed either. At least not without at least a vast majority of them, and a majority of nations being at least part Eldian blood at this point. Next up, getting into the Great Titan War. Ultimately, the Great Eldian nation supposedly fell once the Titan powers it held began fighting amongst themselves. This was known as the Great Titan War. Really, this massive civil war only involving giant naked people. From this, there's a few takeaways here. The first was Papa Grisha claiming this war was about 80 years ago. In other words, almost a complete counterpoint to the previous cleansing that supposedly took place. Multiple nations supposedly then had to rebuild themselves and had become a vast majority in a very short time period. The second key takeaway, the Great Nation resulted in Marley taking control of 7 of the 9 Titan powers. The 2 Titans that were missing was the Founding Titan and the other one Eren currently has. Next up, how this all relates to the current story of these past Attack on Titan seasons. Supposedly after the Marley Nation came out on top, the Royal Blood family and Eldians fled over to the nearby island. The King Fritz and the Royal Blood family then made millions of Colossal Titans from his people, which were used to build the 3-layer walls, pretty much locking themselves in isolation on the nearby island. Keep in mind the Royal Blood Fritz family is the race family that got renamed later within the walls. They just had to step away using that puppet king for safety measures. Unfortunately, from this great escape, the king didn't escape with everyone. A good amount of Eldians were actually left behind for one reason or another. This included the Jaeger family. As for young Grisha here, he really had a young kid coming to the realization of just how cruel this world really was. The sister just got turned into dog food. Meanwhile, the brainwashed papa was trying to reason this whole situation to him. Oh, a fire was just burning inside of this Jaeger kid. Eren can't even compare. The truth of the matter is that Grisha's papa wasn't completely brainwashed. If anything, Papa Grisha was fully aware of what was going on. He really just wanted the propaganda to work on Grisha. That way, history wouldn't repeat itself like it just had. He was fully aware about the terrible position their people were born into. Something worth noting here is the Great Titan Island. The manga at time has used the name Utopia. The name mentioned this episode is called Rakuen in Japanese, which means something like Divine Island, also known as Paradise Island. Quite the ironic name actually. Next up, you got a short time skip with Grisha's growing awareness of his ignorance. Really just more of Marley's lovely hospitality at play too. So getting into the adult Grisha, you got to see the origins of his medical background. Turns out Grisha's papa ran a clinic within Marley. I do wonder to what extent they allowed these supposed devils to practice medicine. Someone could take advantage of that. For the actual meeting that took place right here, another important stepping point for Grisha. Really not a shocker to find out this undercover group within Marley was trying to plot against their oppressors. Perfect way to recruit Grisha too, aim for the soft spot. Next up, the truth about Faye. Yes, it was true, the poor girl actually got fed to hungry doggies. Grisha knew about Faye getting killed, but actually finding out the details, you could just imagine. That Mario bastard must have gotten off this too. Moments later, you have Grisha officially becoming part of Fight Club. Pretty terrible idea by the way too. Oh, let's just go ahead and brand yourself with your group's logo. Come on, you don't have to make it easy for Marley to find you guys. That being said, Grisha was freaking hard once upon a time. I wonder if Eren ever saw that mark. Next up, another key player being introduced, the Owl. Their whole group mentioned about getting some key information, although this had been through the help from the Owl within Marley. This included getting supposed historical documentations from the Eldian Empire that had been long lost. This part should actually remind you to what the interior military police had done with tech advancement within the walls. Next up, another key here regarding Titan history. This time you're getting another version of Ymir's past. Although to be completely honest, this was pretty much Grisha's version of events. Grisha claimed that Titan powers are used to advance human lives overall, which is pretty much the complete opposite of what Marley propaganda taught them. This right here is a perfect example of people choosing to believe the truth most convenient to them. I mean, think about it, Grisha had no idea how to even read this stuff. Grisha was basically making it all up as he went along. The other guys didn't even question it. Talk about being hyped up and living in the moment. Grisha even described this whole group as chosen individuals. Next up, a key player coming in, No, not Dina, but Dinah, the lovely blonde from the Fritz family, so related to Historia from her family tree. Looks like it was love at first sight for Grisha, almost a destined meeting of these two by the Titan gods. As for Dinah, she is part of the earlier people who chose to stay behind for one reason or another instead of escaping to the island. She represented the royal blood family branch that was also hiding out within the Marley Nation. One day, Eldia would rise in power. They were really just waiting it out. Hopefully one day their fallen nation, Eldia, would rise into power again. Right here, they mentioned that she knew some information their family only knew. Unfortunately, the manga and anime doesn't really delve fully into this. From the looks of it, it doesn't seem like they knew all that much, or at least it was on the level of what the owl had already told them. Anyway, this Titan shot should look very familiar, the 9 Almighty Titans. The first time you saw this in the anime was back in the Attack on Titan Season 2 ending. That was really part of the reason why I would have enjoyed this more cryptic ending for Season 3. I mean, there's stuff in the Season 2 ending that hasn't even been explained in the manga yet. This now gets into fleshing out some of the early events mentioned. Recall the Great Titan War? Dinah here claimed to know the reason why the king fled. As you know so far, the founding titan has the power to control all titans. Most likely this doesn't include titan shifters, also known as the other 8 titans. Right here you have this amazing shot of the Great Titan War. You can spot the female titan down there, the armored titan is most likely the one with the shield, and the car titan is super easy to spot too. One of these titan guys has a hammer too. Supposedly this great Eldian king refused to fight in the Great Titan War. Before this war, all of the families who held titans were locked into the civil war for years and years. The titan powers were ultimately lost after the great founding titan king came into power, but for whatever reason chose to flee to the island. It's so nice to see this anime-like painting version for the Colossal Titans within the walls. Really a callback to the wall worshippers holding arms in a similar fashion. So right here you have Dinah doubling down on their hatred toward the founding titan and the other Eldians who ran away. It is easy to see the reason for their hatred. Although so many details of that war are pretty fuzzy, it feels like they're passing all of the blame to the royal family branch who left. I mean, who told them to stay behind? Or were they restricted? At this point, notice 2 groups in Marley hating the other Eldian people on the island, which is the people that stayed behind, and of course the Marley Nation itself. It's also interesting to notice how quickly Grisha became the leader figure of this revolutionist group. Didn't the guy just join recently? Already calling the shots. This definitely tickled Dinah's fancy. I mean, wow, blushing in tears. Grisha was super effective, Dinah is super soaked. Next key player up, a song of Jaeger and royal blood. His name was Zeke. Dun dun dun. Finally revealed for the anime. The Beast Titan wasn't Grisha, but Grisha's son. This does mean the Beast Titan is Eren's brother, half-brother, complete with royal blood. You definitely don't want to mess with this monkey Oni-chan. Before moving on, I do have to mention Zeke and Eren's earlier conversation on the rooftop. There, Zeke claimed that both of them had been corrupted by Grisha, that both of them were victims of that old man. And before leaving, Zeke said that he would one day save Eren. At least for Grisha's side of things. Keep in mind how much more Grisha was focused and happy about Zeke being this child born of royal blood. Then that infamous family portrait. Already at this point, Zeke wasn't looking all too happy. Or maybe the guy was just sleepy, I don't know. At the very least, Dinah and Grisha still seem like a happy couple. One day we'll take back our rightful birthright. If only we had a couple of dragons. Anyway, going into the next key point of the story. You got the beginning of the warrior program at Marley. This was ultimately how Reiner, Annie, and the other guys turned into warriors. Marley currently held 7 of the 9 Titan powers. Why not take advantage of these Eldian devils and use them in wars? Let's just go ahead and use our almighty Titan powers to get the founding Titan on the island. Don't worry, it'll be a piece of cake. Of course, you had Marley's reason for this. Supposedly the founding Titan King wanting to attack in the near future. But from the owl came the real reason. The great Marley Nation had become this powerful world power using the power of the titans they controlled. Unfortunately, over time they would lose their advantage. Technology advancements around the world meant that they had maybe a century, perhaps even decades left. At one point or another, Marley wouldn't be able to rely on their titan powers to have this advantage. Ultimately, funny enough, this actually turns into a tale of Marley wanting that titan oil located on Paradise Island. The founding titan would just be a nice bonus. In other words, that whole Marley public reason for the warrior program was fake. The Marley Nation really just wanted to get ready in advance. In reality, the king did leave a message, but that was over 80 years ago. If anyone tried to invade the island, he would use millions of Colossal Titans to wipe out everything on Earth. For this, they showed that very familiar Colossal Titan shot from the Attack on Titan Season 2 ending. For Grisha and Dinah's group, this really meant they were in competition with the Marley government to retake the founding Titan. Which one of them would be first? Of course, via Zeke enrolling in the warrior program. This created a colossal opportunity for them to sneak someone on the island. And for Zeke here, oh the foreshadowing, playing with the monkey toy. Also a horse and some fallen soldiers nearby. Really reminds you of the recent devastation the Beast Titan caused for Erwin and the Survey Corps. Oh, and does history repeat itself? Just like Grisha's papa did to Grisha, Grisha was now doing something similar with his own propaganda towards the young Zeke. Let me just mention here, there is a side of the story for the young Zeke. If you are interested, I have a full video diving into the Beast Titan. What makes the guy tick? Definitely check that out afterwards. Keep in mind the season 3 anime is not going to be able to reach that. Ultimately, you really have this strong parallel of the young Grisha situation. Zeke was being forced by his parents into this position to lead the Eldian people. The poor kid did not have a choice. Ultimately, this resulted in Zeke rebelling against his parents and backstabbing them. Goodbye Papa and Mama. That's for not letting me see the damn blimp. Ultimately, Grisha realized the sins he was committing all too late. For this shot, notice a couple of things. Tom from the previous episode is holding on to young Zeke. Zeke right here actually got left behind in the care of his grandparents. Part of Zeke turning in his poor parents to the Marley government was his grandparents being spared. Next up, looks like the anime jumped directly into Grisha at Paradise Island. At first I thought the anime cut out Grisha's torture scene. Well, almost. We really can't show you Grisha's Colossal Titan being sliced off, and also his fingers being made into hot dogs. Anyway, at this platform right here, they actually saw this back in Attack on Titan Season 2 via Ymir's flashback. The Ymir flashback was actually supposed to happen in the next episode or two, but it got moved up drastically. At the time for the anime, I recall that causing some people to think the king was using his royal ass power to keep fueling the outside with titans. As for Grisha here, Mr. Kruger makes a return. The guy was still a soldier in charge of punishing Eldians. What a fun job that must have been. Even the other fun Mario brother returned. You got the guy going from turning little girls into a dog Chutoy, to Sparta kicking Eldian spies into the Devil Island. Just to rub salt on the wound too, this iconic line from Mario, "You are free." Next up, here's a fun fact. All of these Eldian restorationists, you actually seen them before. There were many of the Titans seen in the Trust arc in Season 1. The easiest one to spot is the Santa Claus Titan that ate Eren. I'm going to be doing a deeper comparison in the changes video coming up. Next devil on the chopping block, Dinah. For this scene definitely hit me way harder than the manga version. It almost had me choking up. For these guys, the voice acting was perfect. So you got Kruger keeping Dinah from being royal blood a secret. When Grisha was being tortured, he actually spilled everything hoping that they would spare Dinah. But nope, Mario must not know the secret of this blonde. As for the Dinah Titan, doesn't that Titan have a lovely smile? So you have a next reveal this episode. Titan Dinah was actually the one that ate Grisha's other woman, and later also snacked on Uncle Hannes. So it looks like even in Titan mode, Dinah was desperately trying her hardest to get back to Grisha. Well, she got close. She kept on running into Eren Jaeger. That also does mean that Eren killed his stepmother. Anyway, back in present day, you got Mikasa and Eren serving time for barking at Captain Levi. It turns out everything you just witnessed, it really was Eren reliving Grisha's moments, which is really the stuff unlocked recently due to his father's basement books. Right here for the English anime, Armin noted Eren mentioning, "Who am I?" which I think was really missing the point of what this meant. In Japanese, Armin notes here how Eren switched to using the word watashi, meaning I. Definitely more formal. Eren throughout the series has used a way more casual ore. The only time Eren really spoke more formally was anytime involving Levi. Eren's usage of watashi here really helps to hammer down how much Grisha's memories had been affecting him mentally. Whenever Grisha was very desperate on the island, he kept on going back to watashi. By the way, you really just have to love Mikasa in this shot. She's sporting this awesome new bed hairdo. She's just asking for a head pat. Come on Armin, deliver. Anyway, back to Eren role-playing as Grisha in Dreamland. That Mario Major here mentioned something important regarding Titans. He specifically wanted to make a 3 to 4 meter mindless Titan. In other words, Marley is fully aware of how much or what type of dosage is needed to make a Titan a given size. After this, you find out exactly what is making this Major tick. This guy's really just awful deep down. For the guy, this whole Eldian abuse was really simply a way to kill some time. Oh, it's just too awfully peaceful back at Marley. I'm not sure why this guy didn't just become a soldier on the front lines. The Major here also doubled down on the magical Titan juices, those being made from Titan's spinal fluids, among other things. This should have meant that if you're a Titan shifter plus Doctor combo, and also someone that happened to be a spy handling the Titan juices, it really shouldn't have been too hard to recreate the special juices somewhere else. Anyway, getting into the twist, Mr. Kruger killed his plump buddy. Quite the sweet revenge too, especially being devoured by a Titan. Of course, we can't show that on screen. But back to Kruger, or should I say the Owl. A little bit of blood plus Titan lightning later. This guy summoned Eren's almighty Titan. So yes, quite the cliffhanger. At least now you found out the last Titan that Marley didn't control where this thing was hiding. Anyway, getting into the manga to anime changes